Good afternoon and welcome to the August 11th, 2025 meeting of the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee. I am Andrea Boone, chair of this committee. To my right is the Honorable Byron D. Amos, the Honorable Mary Norwood, and to my left is the Honorable Antonio Lewis, District 12, and the Honorable Ishay Collins. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by the Honorable Ishay Collins, seconded by the Honorable Byron D. Amos. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by the Honorable Byron Amos, seconded by the Honorable Ishay Collins. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
We have 6 public speakers at this time. Ms. Valerie Anderson.
I just want you all to know how very how upset I am to know that Melvin Potter went back to work, not in his official capacity as far as a police officer. He's doing desk duty, but he shouldn't even be doing desk duty. He shouldn't even be a janitor in a police precinct, because being a janitor is too good for him. With all that you all have found out about Melvin Potter, AGC did a wonderful job as far as detailing everything about Melvin Potter, everything. And you mean to tell me they still call him back to work? I mean, don't they have any shame? Because they're supposed to be looking out for the people on them, not covering their own ass at every chance they get, because this is what's happening right now. Melvin Potter murdered my son. Melvin Potter murdered my son. How am I supposed to feel as a mother to know he murdered my son, got charged with obstruction, and now he don't collect the government money, now he's at work? Seriously? This is what I have to look forward to, with the disappointment constantly about the murder of my son? You all make promises. I don't even know if to say if you all tell lies to get your position. Because it looked like to me you all, not so much the system, let me rephrase, the system looked like again, like I said, power, title, and position is all they care about. It shouldn't be that way. It should not be this way. But you know me, that's my son, and I'm going to fight for him as long as it takes. I'm not giving up, not giving up. So I need to know if you all had know that he went back to work. When he went back to work, I need to know this. Do any one of you know that he went back? Because how I found out was from Channel 11 when I did an interview with them. So the question is, did any one of you know this? Feel free, Mr. Amos, Norwood, Boone, Ms. Collins, Mr. Lewis, anybody? This is so embarrassing, the disconnect that they did this, you all don't know, and I found out from Channel 11. Must be nice. I have for justice for my son, okay? So, what you all don't know, that I feel you all should know, and then I have to be the one bringing this to you all, that's a whole lot more that I don't need to be doing. I just have for justice for my son. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And Melvin Potter getting fired. Melvin Potter should be fired. And I'm not going to stop until he gets fired. So, is there any update or anything that you all could tell me differently than me finding out from Channel 11 that he's doing desk duty, which I don't care, because he's supposed to be in jail, in prison, something, anything.
The Honorable Antonio Lewis.
So I did not know he was back on duty. One thing I've noticed since I've been on council in this committee, sometimes the AJC and 11 Alive, they do open record requests. And we find out, similar to last month with the Atlanta Citizens Review Board, when they were actually given certain information and it found out through an open record request it wasn't exactly true. And so once again, I need to investigate this. I'm looking at the AJC article right now, comparing it to 11 Alive. We're gonna continue to ask for what I'm learning, we gotta ask so specific of a question to get the answers that we want. And I wish it wasn't like that. Truly wish it wasn't like that. I've been an advocate on this side and listening to you.
Yes, that's true, from day one.
And I try to ask the question specifically. I was so happy when Councilmember Collins came because she could ask him questions specific that I wasn't able to ask, and we got some more answers at that time period. I know it's gonna take a teamwork. I wish we didn't have to do that. But myself and the Atlanta Citizens Review Board, and that's Mr. Lee Reed, intelligent attorney, and he even asked questions, and the AJC did an open record request and came out that the things that he was told weren't exactly what we were looking for either. So I'm hopeful that we can get the answers out of the stuff we need, and I'm gonna lean on this board, and I'm gonna take leadership from this board, but I'm your full out advocate on this side.
Well, I would encourage everybody to read the AGC article that they had on me. And I would also say, instead of calling the APD, they need to call it the lawless APD. Lawless, because this is pure lawlessness at a degree I have never seen.
The system.
Never.
Now, I'll tell you, the system
Well, the system need to change the system, and the laws need to change the laws.
It's something that we're trying to work on as much as possible. The system of public safety, it was created to capture slaves. And so to work within that system, it's always gonna be trying to be innovative in what I'm trying to do in that system, because we know how it was put together. But my goal is to make it work for all of us the best way. If they are not being as truthful as open as honest as possible. I think the issue we had a few months ago was around closed case from the GBI to APD. When were they closed and when were they not closed? And so it seemed like from looking at this case that is now moved back over to our Fulton County DA's office, and just want to make sure that we're as aware as possible on this stuff. So I know our chairperson for this board has always asked for specific in writing stuff from the APD, so I'm looking forward to what she's gonna come up with and working with her on trying to push this forward. But thank you again. I hate that you have to come down here.
We really regret this, but our next speaker is Ms. Chastity Ivory.
Good afternoon. So imagine being up all day, having a celebration of life. We had a good time. We had a good time that day. Imagine watching the news because we knew it was going to air on the news. We knew the interview was going to air. Imagine, to our surprise, to hear that he's back at work in whatever capacity. He's back at work. He's not roaming the streets. Okay, that's fine. But for him to even be back at work at a desk, somebody has a position that's supposed to be to protect and serve. So imagine me as a regular civilian, regular person, knowing that somebody who murdered somebody, and not just that, their character is very weak, their character is very sad. Domestic violence, drunk driving, and now murder on top of that. Imagine that character to be the character of the people that's supposed to protect and serve people like you or I. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. So that's who's sitting behind a desk doing whatever kind of work he's doing. Just imagine that. And that's all. That's just how I'm going to leave it.
Thank you, Nick. Our next speaker is Ms. Janet Libird. Please come on. Thank you.
Good afternoon. August 5th was a year, it has been a year since Devon Anderson had been murdered by Melvin Potter. We went back to where he was murdered, and it was very sad. A lot of family and friends came out, and we did a tribute to him. And just imagine how you feel losing one of your loved ones, being killed for no reason by a police officer who is here to serve. They call us the angry Black women, but we are angry for a reason. We are angry because our young sons are being killed, and we have no one to fight for. So what we do? We get out and fight. So yes, we're angry. What else can we do? I'm not sure how many people have a son or a son who have been killed, whether it's by a police officer or whoever. You're gonna go and fight for justice. So we are fighting for justice. We just want Melvin Potter off of the force, because he is not serving, he is killing. Not just killing Ms. Anderson's son, but he is, I mean, he's abusive, he's a drunk. There's so many things about him, and he's still on the force. Why is he still on the force? Why is he still working? Like we said before, if it was one of us, we would have been in jail. But he is working, he is collecting a paycheck. And why are they covering up everything about, what he did? Why is he being protected? He is not a good cop. He doesn't care anything about us but himself. Because when he murdered Devon Anderson, he did it out of anger. And Devon did not do anything to him. He was on his side. He was stopping them from fighting, from arguing. If Devon didn't jump in, that cop could have killed somebody or hurt somebody else. But no, Devon is a good person. He jumped in and tried to defuse the situation and got killed because of that. That's the type of person he is. Because he also, when he's around us, he's a protector, you know? He's always there looking out for us until you're okay and making sure everything is okay with us. You know, he has a good heart, and to lose him so selflessly is very painful. So we're gonna continue to fight. I might not be up here every day because I can't take every day off, but I'm gonna come here as much as I can with her until she gets justice.
Thank you. Ms. Henri Jordan.
Give now to the Spirit of God, everyone that's here. Give her of the fruit of her hands. Let her own works praise in the gates. Proverbs 31:31. She is a woman of God who is enterprising and dedicated to her home. I gave James Griff the word that created the income, and he rejected it. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife is taken for fornication, and shall marry another, committed adultery. And whoso marries her which is put away, commit adultery. St. Matthew 19, chapter 9th verse. Therefore, Jesus gave one exception to the no divorce intention of God. For fornication, sexual sins, not to be limited to premarital sex only, but it includes all types of sexual sin, such as adultery, homosexuality, and bestiality. James caused his wife to be angry against him, to stab him with the table knife. Then he took her to court to get a divorce. The wife had not power of his own body, but the wife. The wife had not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise, also the husband had not power of his own body, but the wife. 1 Corinthians 7, chapter 4th verse. When other women have power over James' body, he cannot be my husband. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Ephesians 5th chapter 25th verse. As Christ gave himself for the church, so there is to be no sacrifice, not even the laying down of his life, that a husband should not be willing to make for his wife. The marriage, James, is to destroy marriages and will not help men be Christ-like husbands. I saw in a dream James attempted to teach men to be a Christ-like husband, and the men knew his life and was angry with him, then started fussing with him. I'm thinking about y'all are against justice when you back up people that do this. And because the mighty God created in me, and James come in my house, took my batteries out of my lawnmower that I cut the grass with. Anything I use chemicals or something. He come in there and rob and get it to keep my grass growing and want me to pay people money when God can use me to cut my own grass. And y'all back him up and he's doing wrong. And I'm telling you about what he's doing. And God is against what he's doing. So you should be against what he's doing. But he give us a chance to repent of our sins, to fight against sin. Because righteousness exalts a nation. Not sin, not adultery, fornication, not robbery, not killing one another for just no reason at all.
Next speaker, Ms. Ayanna Lofton.
Hi, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to come before you. I'm Ayanna, the wife of Keith Lofton. He's currently serving time in prison, accused of the murder of Gabriel Sam Parker. First thing that I want to say is coming down here, myself and Valerie and whomever else may come down to speak before the council, to give voice to you all and whoever else that would listen. It's not just about us. It's about other families who may not have the strength, who may not have the know-how, and we are voicing for them also. Even for those that will go through things such as this moving forward. But one thing that also during this process is that I spoke to you all before, and I told you there were conversations, Atlanta Citizen Review Board, and as of today, there still have not been an investigation for them to complete their investigation of the officer's action. Neither by OPS. I was also told that even though there may be some wrongdoing or whatever, I guess, violations from that particular officer, it was nothing that could be done because he's no longer with APD. One other thing that I have found also is that these actions of misconduct is not being reported to post. So therefore, when these officers resigned and they go to different agencies, when they pull their background, whatever they have to do through that process, it's not showing up. And they're able to lie on their applications as though they haven't been under investigation, and even some of their actions that they have displayed in being an officer with certain agencies such as APD, and I'm particularly talking about the officer who shot my husband and who killed Gabriel Sam Parker. There are specifics that I asked for from APD that would exonerate my husband, which it's already known that he did not do that. He did not cause it to be done. It was a narrative that was written, and I mean, everything else was based on that narrative. Those specifics were not addressed. Only what APD wanted to address. So I'm asking for transparency. I'm asking for clarity. I'm also asking for where's the checks and balance for when the APD is not doing what they're supposed to do. Where's the checks and balance? We have it throughout every level of our government, even our U.S. military. So where's that check and balance when they're not doing what they're supposed to do? It's evident that there's a problem. If we have over 40 shootings that have not, police-involved shootings that have not been investigated properly, and and most of them are melanated people. What's wrong with that? People have lost their lives. People have lost their lives throughout our history for us to be able to afford certain positions. Even me standing here speaking, even with some of you all being on city council. And that's all I have to say.
The Honorable Isha Collins.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Lofton. I just have a couple of questions for clarity to understand how we as city council members can support. So if I recall, you shared that your husband was, I take it that it went to trial.
No, it did not go to trial.
So he took a plea?
He took a plea, an Alfred plea. He was under distress. It's a lot that was, that I guess went on that particular day. He was going to go to trial, but it's a lot that went on, medication and so forth. And I was also told, well, he shouldn't have took the plea.
Well, so he's taking a plea, which right now he's serving time for.
Yes, it's an Alfred plea.
Right.
It's on the court docket also for him to withdraw that plea, but it's, yeah.
That was gonna be my next question, just to make sure, because at this point, it's a whole different level of involvement on our end. I mean, of course, and that was my only question for clarity. Where is he in this? Where is everything in this process? Because it sounds like it was based on, I guess, the felony murder rule in the state of Georgia. I won't go down that path. I think that's just kind of helped me understand where things are now, because I do think it plays out differently in your situation versus some of the other constituents that we've had. What would help us, and I can give you my contact information or whatnot, is just to kind of understand, because he do have a clock. The clock is ticking for him in terms of his appeal and also withdrawing, but that's just a whole nother question for us to understand. We can follow up. I can follow up with chair of the committee, Councilwoman Boone, in terms of the Citizen Review Board report and those things as well. So that was just my only question, is kind of understanding where he is now.
Okay, and the other thing was, back 4 years ago, I addressed the APD. I emailed them. As I said, I emailed the mayor. There were certain things that was addressed then, and there was no clarity at that time. And just as it was kind of like a brush off. And with me being considered a civilian, because I'm not law enforcement, that still does not. Being a citizen, that's still my voice being heard. Who's going to fight for our loved ones more passionately than us ourselves?
Fair enough, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Ms. Lofton.
Thank you. And next, we would like to ask our city attorney if she would come on up. She has a special announcement at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to just introduce our new our division chief for litigation. You have met Tori Smith, who's our deputy in charge of litigation, and George Protho comes to us. He's been promoted, actually, since he came to us, this position. He has numerous years of experience in litigation and worked at a large firm before coming to the city, but he will be here as a face in the audience from time to time to help address any questions you all might have on the litigation matters that are on your agenda, both the settlements and small claims. In fact, I think you'll be trying to do that, more administrative duties with regard to claims as well. Wanted to say hello?
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and welcome?
Good afternoon. Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. George Prothro, working with the city law department with Ms. Patrice Perkins Hooker. I'm an Atlanta resident, went to Georgia Tech, went to Emory. I've been practicing law for 25 years, and I look forward to working with each one of you on the council.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any questions from my colleagues? Well, again, thank you so much. And now we will hear from Atlanta Police Department crime statistics. Deputy Chief Spann is coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deputy Chief Spann, Atlanta Police Department, over our Criminal Investigations Division. As reported already with the COBRA report ending in week 32, we are reporting an 8% overall crime reduction. When we look at the breakdowns per zone, every zone is down with the exception of Zone 1. When you look at specific categories, we are seeing a slight uptick in rapes, aggravated assault, robbery, and shoplifting, but we are seeing the downward slope to our robberies, where we were seeing a lot of our perpetrators and victims who were very well aware of each other, and these were, for instance, selling of tennis shoes or cell phones in particular areas. And then we also saw a lot of activity surrounding robberies related to drug activity. And at this time, I'll take any questions if you all have it.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
You mentioned Zone 1. Why are we up and what we doing to change it?
So when we look at Zone 1, specifically, again, in the categories of rape, and not sure if you all noticed or not, but NIBR is almost equal to what we used to see as UCR guidelines for FBI. Similar to that, our rape definition has changed again. Now we are including sodomy again for our rape. So we see a slight uptick there. For our aggravated assaults, we did see a lot of dwelling shootings. And so with the dwelling shootings, we see a lot of occupants inside of a particular location. And then in addition to that, it may not be anybody who struck. Overall, we're still 10% down in our shootings, but at the same time, we're counting that number of victims in a dwelling at that time. Same thing, I already spoke about our robberies, what we were seeing in those particular areas. Shoplifting certainly has been a regular trend, where we see our individuals just going in, stealing small items like beer, things like that in our convenience stores. And then our all other larcenies are up by 23% in Zone 1. And this could be any type of larceny. This could be someone who went in and took a friend's phone. It could be related to domestic violence. It's a gamut of things that is inclusive in that all other larceny, where items may have been taken.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I had a few questions. I think I'll go around Zone 3.
Yes, sir.
So super happy to see the homicide rate drop 22%, only because I know what the previous 2 weeks looked like in our area. Major Wolfwork in our Zone 3 folks have been truly doing a outstanding job. We've seen them with their blue lights. It looked like they started back doing a blue lights initiative over there. So he's had his blue lights on at night, and folks have felt more comfortable. So truly want to give a shout out to Zone 3 on the increased activities around hot spots in our area. The aggravated assault went up because we told people to stop shooting people and they started fighting more. So we got to work on emotional intelligence so we can stop them from fighting as well. But super happy that they've put the guns down a little bit more in our area. The main question I have is the same question I've had since May 16th. And the question is, because I want to increase I want to continue to be stronger on crime. I think the way I get stronger is actually to make sure that we're judging apples to apples a part of the area. So we've gotten imaginary dogs chasing folks. We've gotten blue lights initiatives. We give out the free gun lock boxes. We had a job fair the past couple of weeks. So we're doing everything we can. We got these organizations fighting gun violence and gang violence. So we're doing everything we can, but I want to make sure I'm truly judging apples to apples, right? And so my question I've been asking is how many officers we have per zone and how many police cars we have per zone. And I was told I was going to get an answer today.
So I don't have an answer for you. What I can tell you is we did send over the divisional breakdown for numbers. And when honestly, when you're looking to compare apples to apples, just keep in mind that a lot of times we deploy efforts based on what we see. So a lot of times it's strategic. Your area specifically, we will deploy. For instance, we had heat wave. We had a lot of units deployed in that space. Specifically, there was a great arrest made just last week in that area where 2 machine guns were taken off of an individual, a total of 4 weapons. So of course we can't count how many homicides we probably prevented, but constantly we are strategizing to deploy efforts in those areas. So a lot of times you'll see the number of officers, they may look different per zone, but our support units based on that are still deployed in that area to be able to reduce crime. Specifically for Zone 3, as you know, last year, y'all were #1 in the crime reduction. And right now, you're second place and tied with another zone at 9%. So very highly likely that you still may get that same crime reduction, but I'm just saying, overall, when you compare apples to apples, just know that those officers, support units are still deployed in those areas to be able to reduce crimes in that space.
I just want to make it a little easy. I want to make sure that we're able to fully do what we're supposed to. And so that's my whole goal. I know that we've been as innovative as possible. When I was elected, I remember our DA told us that that stretch between Cleveland Avenue and Pittsburgh was the roughest stretch in America in her county. And we've been working to clean it up without trying to lock our way up out that situation. And I think we've accomplished it. We done scared some folks up from committing crimes. But I think word is, the reason why I've been asking, because that's the word, that I want to make sure that Zone 3, Zone 1, Zone 2, 4, 5, and 6 have the same amount of officer cars and officers, which is because I know where I'm at. 38 years old, so I spent 38 years right in Zone 3. And we've scared some folks up. But now word is getting out that we might not have the same amount of police cars, might not have the same amount of officers as other zones. I know we're stretching ourselves to fix it, but I want to know the numbers so I can know what I'm dealing with. If possible, I know I was told I'll go back and I'll look for those emails. I'll try to search that up, but I want to be as transparent as possible on this. I'm seeing a rise, and me trying to scare folks up ain't working as much. The city's jobs, we don't have as many open jobs as we used to have, so I can't go to the trap house and pass out job applications right now and get a person a job within 2 weeks now. Now it's taking 2-3 months before they get a job. I got a text message this weekend where a young man texts me, go to it because he texts me every day. He texts me exact words, "Big bro, I've been doing the right thing and still haven't found a job. Making me want to crash out. It's been a year, haven't found anything." So I just understand where we're going with this stuff. So I need to know everything in the area. So I would love to know how many officers we have in Zone 3. I mean, per zone, just to make sure we're doing it the right way. The city of Atlanta is no longer having a problem hiring officers. We're doing better than anywhere else in the country. I've heard our sheriffs around the state, around the county, say implement what the city council and the mayor did with APD so we can be like them. What we've done is make sure that the benefits were good and we gave a raise every single time. So I just want to make sure that the system that was created to capture slaves is working for all of us, particularly if we got the right people leading the ship. I'm seeing these other cities and counties say, what are y'all doing to hire people? And so I can't be strong on crime and progressive on crime at the same time. If Zone 1 or Zone 6 or Zone 5, when we have a graduation, if 30 people graduate and 2 go to Zone 3, but 10 go to Zone 1, 10 go to Zone 2, 10. So I want to make sure we're getting our accurate help in our area. Thank you again.
Trust me, when we do assign officers to zones, that they are strategically placed. So there is not a zone that's left behind or without. And I think that the reduction in crime speaks numbers to what we're seeing in that space.
And you said trust you. It's hard. I'll tell you the reason why. Not you, nothing to do with you. I say the system. I'm always going to talk about the system. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution literally had to do an open record request based on some words that were given in here, and their open record request proved that the words that were given in here were not what came out of that open record request. And that was myself, the Atlanta Citizens Review Board, and the APD. And that's just me asking questions. I think the question I'm asking right now is simple. On December 31st, how many officers did we have per zone? How many police cars did we have per zone? On May 16th, how many officers did we have per zone? How many police cars did we have per zone? That way I can know at least where we were. And that's not even giving an accurate account to August 11th. I'm talking about May, 3-4 months ago. So I know we've changed a little bit since then. And I know we used to pull officers for the public safety training facility. Amazing building, is finished. So we no longer, I want to make sure we have the people in our area we're supposed to. That way I can keep making folks in zone 3 feel safe. My entire district is in zone 3. I want to make sure people feel safe in our areas. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just go piggybacking off of that, there is baseline data to let us know this is like how many officers in zone 1, this is how many officers, well, have been assigned to zone 1, zone 2. We do have those numbers, right? Just get a baseline, even if certain teams or more officers have to be pulled in other zones just based on situations. Is that?
Right, so again, every day, now the question was overall, who was assigned, right? And so when you talk about the deployment of our support units, will we have our motors unit, our auto crimes enforcement team, our narcotics team. Now, we're trying to calculate that as well, which every day that's gonna change. How many officers are actually in that zone, working, giving efforts, reducing crime.
But we have the basic numbers of knowing how many officers have been assigned to a zone, even though we know it's going to fluctuate.
So what we sent over was the divisional numbers overall, broken down per division.
Okay.
To how many officers were assigned to each of those.
Okay, but still not zones.
Right.
Okay. I think that I'm a little, just to be a little confused. So to your, like you said, when an officer graduates from the academy, they are assigned by division or they're assigned by zone?
They're assigned to a division.
Okay.
So that division, you have those numbers.
And then that division
breaks it down
to the zones.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah. And my second question, maybe this is something for committee leadership. I know we get, for every meeting, we get the monthly report or the quarterly report of numbers. Is there an opportunity for us? Do we receive like a comprehensive overview of the department at some point of the year? And I don't know if it's Attorney Roberts, I don't know. Do we receive a comprehensive report?
So you're asking for a overview of what, I'm sorry, crime or?
Yeah, so like normally during budget season, for each department, we receive like an overview of the department, the glows, I'll call them the glows and the grows, and like what their budget requests they're asking for and how it helps them effectuate the vision that they have moving forward. What I was just asking is, so like in city utilities, we received a report for like this is how Department of Watershed Management doing, this is how this department, I was wondering, do we receive a comprehensive report for our police department in this committee? And I'm just asking because I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So Chief Shibam comes here and he provides a quarterly report out to you all every quarter. Yes.
Okay. So is it possible for that quarterly report out to have a breakdown? And Councilman Lewis, I don't know if this would suffice. Would it be also when we have those quarterly presentations to have that division breakdown, just so that we do know what at least the officers and the divisions have been assigned to? Just curious.
I can take that back to the chief. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
And I would like to tell you what my question is specific, because you were on this. Councilmember Collins, I truly appreciate you. You've actually even added some things I'm make requests for later, because I want this one so bad. Just to be specific, officers assigned per zone, December 31st, 2024, and May 16th, 2025. And the reason why I asked that, you can even put it in a report. That's solid numbers on one day. And I just want to know how many officers, like if there are 30 officers assigned to zone 1, how many, if there's 100 officers assigned to zone 1. I just want to know what's the daily count on those 2 days, no other days. And so that shouldn't even affect our officers. God willing, since we've grown so many officers, we've done so well at hiring fairs, so well at hiring that we're about to announce that we've hit our numbers. And so since we've gotten that, the numbers have changed anyway. So I just want to know the old numbers, right? And so just specific assigned, not the details that were sent over there, because and I feel so good about it because I fight crime in my district with my major. We go to the houses together. This Friday, I had to call them because one of the houses that we went to, they lied to us. They told us they were going to stop doing whatever they were doing, and they didn't. And so now we have to be more forceful, and we have to investigate a little bit differently. So I fight crime in my area with my major. So I feel good about asking these numbers. But that number I'm asking, he wasn't even a major then.
Right.
I'm asking for the numbers from December 31st, 2024, and from May 16th per zone, because I just want to make sure we are taking care of the South Side too.
And thanks for helping your major. I appreciate that too. Anybody?
Okay, everyone, I'm Councilmember Amos, absent of our chair and our vice chair. The chair asked me to help move the committee forward by chairing. Just want to state that for the record. Major Spann, Chief Spann, thank you. Please tell your rank and file, thank you for everything. If there's no more questions or concerns, we'll let you get back to fighting crime.
Thanks. And before I depart the podium, I do really want to extend a special thank you to everyone who responded to the CDC and Emory campus this past Friday. Our 911 center, of course, the officers who responded to the scene, as well as our crime scene techs. It was a very, very chaotic scene, and the deepest condolences to Officer Rose of DeKalb County. So thank you.
Thank you. I know it's on the agenda, the code enforcement report, but I think it has been rescheduled for a later date. So that will move us to our Office of City Solicitor quarterly report.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Amos, and good afternoon to all members of the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee and to the chair in her absence. I want to let you know that I am here today to present our quarterly report. It's been a while since I've been before you, so we are anxious to get moving. I am Raines Carter, City Solicitor, and I'll be joined today by our Director of Special Properties, Mr. Jordan Williams, and we are also joined by our Special Properties team. I want to start off by thanking Mayor Dickens and thanking the administration for all the support that we receive in the City Solicitor's office, especially with our Special Properties team and the Safe and Secure Housing Initiative that Mayor Dickens started. I also want to take a minute to just give thanks for the support that we've received from our City Attorney, Patrice Perkins Hooker, and her team, Ms. Shamia Washington, Mr. Paxton, and Brianna Brown. They have really helped us to get started with the process that Mr. Jordan is going to speak of. So I'll go ahead and start through our agenda. We will talk about our courtroom metrics with our high intensity traffic court, give you some information regarding speeding, reckless driving, and those types of offenses. And then as always, we will go over our top 25 charges that come through the Department of Corrections. These are arrest cases on the top 25 charges. And then we have a breakdown for you in terms of the reckless and speeding charges per zone, per APD zone. And we have some specific information about code enforcement. This time we have actually included the dispositions, the outcomes. I know Councilmember Hillis will ask about that from time to time. Our high intensity traffic court deals with these charges: aggressive driving, fleeing or attempting to elude police, reckless stunt driving, which takes place throughout Georgia, reckless driving, land drag, and of course, racing and speeding. This court is presided over by our chief judge, Judge Ward, and we broke it down in terms of quarters for this year. From January through March, as you can see in courtroom 3A, our speeding cases just far exceed the other charges that came upon the calendar for that monthly period. In fact, double or quadrupled the other number of cases. So we really have some serious issues, as anybody that drives in the city will know, with speeding. When you go through April and June, the cases that hit the calendar, as you can see, there is a difference. And the difference is that the speeding cases came way down for that particular period. So I certainly like to commend the efforts that take place from APD and our other agencies. Unfortunately, though, the reckless driving cases went up. So we are all subject to people that are doing those things that really cause us a lot of fear on the road, driving in front of people. I don't know how many times lately that I've had a situation where I'm at a stoplight. The light is red. The person behind me comes around and goes in front of me or turns. So we really got to continue to try to come up with measures to try to get people's attention about reckless driving and how they endanger all of our citizens. With regard to the top 25 charges, remember, as I said, these are the charges that come through the Department of Corrections. These people were actually placed under arrest. They generally will have 3 to 4 types of charges. So a person may be charged with DUI, but they may also have reckless driving, failure to obey a traffic control device, which is probably the initial probable cause for the stop, and then it goes on into a DUI arrest. We still have cases that are coming through following too closely, pedestrian in the roadway, and those types of things. If you take a look at what happened during the first 3 months of the year, as always, and you've seen this historically, far and beyond that number one arrest is always driving with suspended and revoked licenses. And you hear people all the time will say, well, I don't know about it. There is free access to check your driver's history. The state provides it on the website. Put your driver's license number in, and you'll be able, through the Department of Driver Services. I would advise that every now and then, perhaps every 3 months, just check your driver history, just to make sure that there are no outstanding citations or failure to appears or anything that could impact you. And of course, when people stopped, if you have a failure to appear, then there can be some action taken against you. April through June, you see the trends remain the same. We had fewer arrests that came through on suspended license, but some of our other categories did go up a bit. Now, as we get to reckless and speeding charges, as I mentioned to you, this is being done per zone now. And if you could look from January through March of this year, as you can see, the highest in terms of reckless driving for that 3-month period that came into our high-intensity court was with Zone 6, and it was followed by Zone 3. Interestingly enough, if you look at Zone 1, not a single speeding case hit the docket for that 3-month period. Very interesting. Now, it hit other dockets, but it didn't hit that particular docket. And that particular docket basically deals with excessive speeds, where people are going over 100, 110, 120. I don't want to go any further, but there are some people that are really driving fast in our city. If you look at April through June, however, you can see that Zone 6, the number came down. Zone 5, which of course really encompasses part of our downtown area, as you can see, there was an increase with regard to Zone 5 for that period. And that's as of June 30th of this year. Now I'll switch over to our courtroom metrics for our code enforcement court. As you know, our code enforcement court is presided over by Judge Sykes, and it handles all different types of cases. Fire code, erosion control, our business license cases come through there, alcohol violations, zoning, our civil process cases, which of course deal with housing code violations, and some of the things that take place out at the airport, valet driving, also DPW cases that come through Department of Public Works. And this is what Councilman Hillis asked for. He wanted a breakdown to show the dispositions. So you all will have an opportunity to take your time and look through that and see the various categories per case with business license, alcohol, our civil process, which are our housing cases, and then the few cases that come from the airport. I remember the last time I presented, we actually had a DUI case that was from the airport, and that's still being processed through the court system. So you have January and February together so that you can look and make whatever comparisons you would like. We have March and April together as you're looking through and looking at the resets, the dismissals, but also you can take a look at the fines that were imposed in our code enforcement court. And then we have our dispositions through June 30th of this year related to what you would find with various things like zoning cases. The city doesn't have that many zoning cases, but when we do have them, they're quite serious because they can cause all kind of consequences in neighborhood. They actually impact developers throughout our city. With that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to our director, Jordan Williams. Perhaps he might want to introduce the team that is here today. And then I will rejoin you when we get to the community prosecution portion of our presentation. And of course, we'll both be here for questions. Thank you so much.
Hi, Jordan Williams, Director of the Special Properties team. So we are a special team in the office that focuses on properties that need more intensive intervention. I'd like to start by introducing my team. If y'all could stand up. We have our paralegal and project manager, Dimitri Cooper, Jennifer Milton, solicitor, and Naomi Tinks, solicitor, Brittany Prescott, solicitor, and Janelle Bowles, solicitor. So that's our team. So I want to start with an overview on the next slide of our various enforcement tools. The first one is the, oh, sorry. Oh, you got it. Thank you. Okay. So the first one, y'all are generally familiar with the SASHI civil code enforcement violations. Those are the ones you typically hear us in code enforcement providing updates on for the big multifamily properties with a high volume of violations. Those are corporate owned typically, and we're looking to get compliance as the outcome, and we are continuing to bring cases forward on that. For judicial in rem, this is a process that, as you know, was recently restarted. We're looking at this for severely hazardous properties with chronic violations. Right now, we're keeping it to properties we want to do a demolition on. And we're looking for a change in condition, and those cases are also being brought right now. And then injunctive relief, this is more unusual. This is when you have the criminal activity or another issue outside of traditional code enforcement that creates a nuisance, and we request an abatement of a nuisance in Superior Court, and those are brought in as appropriate. Okay, and this is the current pipeline of safe and secure housing properties with upcoming court hearings. We have 8 properties with upcoming hearings, as well as the first one on there, penalties have been assessed. The second one, penalties have been assessed and there's been non-payment, so we will be filing a lien to enforce it. And one that is missing from this list that was booked last week, I believe, 60 Pascal Boulevard, Magnolia Park, and that will have a hearing date of September 3rd. And just to give a quick snapshot from January to July of this year, the penalties collected so far are 167,000. That will be going up a lot through the rest of the year as these upcoming properties come. And then I wanted to give a brief overview of the judicial in rem process. As you know, there's been a policy decision to switch to judicial in rem from admin in rem, particularly for the most severe properties that need a demolition. So the initial stage is the referral. This is where APD code enforcement provides an evidence package with all the appropriate files to our office. The legal review is then done by our team in the solicitor's office, and who determine if filing is appropriate or if any additional investigation is needed. If it is determined to be appropriate, we do the filing and do the appropriate service and notice. And then, of course, we have the hearing generally 4 to 6 weeks out from the time of the filing. And then finally, after a demolition order, the property is demolished and the land is available for use by the community again. And this next slide is just a snapshot of the hearings that have been held so far. You'll notice an asterisk by the first 6 that were handled by Shemia Washington Law Department. Our team handled the next 6, and thus far we've got 8, I believe it's 8 properties with either a demolition or demolition order in place, and 4 that are pending a compliance hearing. And I'll hand it back over to Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Jordan. Community prosecution is extremely important to our criminal justice system. It was actually started years ago when one of our former Congress people, Claire McCaskill, who was a former prosecutor in Missouri, pushed this whole concept nationwide. Since that time, the city of Atlanta is in the top tier of community prosecution, and it's because of the wonderful administrations that we have had, and it's also because of the wonderful support we have received from you as council members. The whole theory is an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, and that's doing community outreach to see if we can get in front of some of these issues that lead to crime. A lot of people look at it as, oh, well, is it a bunch of charity work? No, it is essential work to try to get people in the right frame of mind to realize that we can live in peace in our communities. So these are the types of things that we do. We work along with the MPU system, and we work along with the community town halls that you all sponsor to make sure that we get information to the public. We also sponsor senior citizen public safety events throughout the city. We recently did one at the Linwood Senior Living Center on Peachtree. That one will be on our next report. But we do this throughout the city. Everybody can benefit from these events. One of the things that we'll be looking at as we start planning for another fiscal year is to expand these events beyond seniors to everyone in our community. We're focusing now on seniors because, as you know, the seniors are the most vulnerable in the community right now in terms of scams and in terms of even people that threaten physical harm. They're very comprehensive. We have tremendous support from the Atlanta Police Department, thank you, from Atlanta Fire Rescue, and from several other agencies in the city. We also participate in neighborhood cleanups. A clean community is a safer community. It's been documented over and over again. When people are going out to perpetrate crimes, they're looking for places where it doesn't appear that anybody cares. When we get out and clean up our communities, that sends a signal that they need to move on somewhere else. I want to thank, again, our city attorney for sponsoring the Senior Will events and for allowing us to participate. I think there's another one that's coming up very soon. I hope to be able to get there personally to help with the situation with the attorneys and the support staff that work with this process. I also want you to keep in mind that as we are onboarding the new officers that are being assigned to the zones, we take part in that training. We want to make sure that our officers are trained in a couple of ways. Of course, there's police training with de-escalation techniques, but then there's also a legal part of it. So we give them a little mini criminal law course to help them in terms of writing their citations, to help them in terms of some of the decisions that they make with the charges, to also help them stay up to date on the ordinances. As a legislative body, you all meet year-round, so there are a lot of changes in ordinances. And so what you don't want to happen is that you've changed an ordinance and the officer's out there enforcing an older version of it. And so we have many of our senior attorneys to go out to the academy. That is overseen by Deputy Solicitor Andrew Taylor. And again, these are some other senior citizen public events. Thank you all for coming out, Councilman Bond, Councilman Amos, and we can't thank you enough for being a part of what we do. And the mayor comes to these events himself, so very happy for his support. That's one that we did at Corso Atlanta. And thank you, Councilmember Norwood, for your support on that particular event and the support that you continue to give us with this process. We have community outreach public safety events. We had one recently, just in June, at the St. Peter's Missionary Baptist Church. I want to take a moment and shift back to housing for a second. Our housing court judge, Judge Sykes, actually did an open house, and it was very well attended. We want to thank Councilmember Dustin Hillis and Councilmember Jason Dozier, who was able to join us. And we were able to explain to a larger group some of the things that you are hearing today about the whole code enforcement arena and how sometimes we have to make changes in our ordinances. And he explained the whole process. And so thanks to Judge Sykes for that. And we're happy to participate in the job fairs. As you said, Councilmember Lewis, the employment situation is changing in Atlanta, but to the extent that we can still go out and recruit and help bring people on board to help the city, we want to be a part of that. And of course, thanks so much for allowing us to participate in the community outreach events. The timing of our public safety presentation did not allow me to bring our interns as other departments did. You know, they've gone back to school now. But I will say that we were very proud to have at least about 12 interns. We actually had some that joined us from the law department. And I am encouraged because these young people, they paid attention and they asked some tough questions and they look at court proceedings and they had an opportunity to visit other areas of government. We were able to take them over to the appellate courts, the Court of Appeals. We were able to take them over to the Georgia State Capitol. In fact, one of our interns was the son of one of our state representatives. So we were able to make a lot of headway with that process, and we look forward to the internship program next year and continuing to support the mayors with his youth efforts. And continued community outreach, food distributions. We've got to continue to do that. I saw a television story last night about the challenges at the food bank with some of the things that are happening nationally now. So I truly believe that we're going to have more and more of these events come up as we continue throughout the year. So thank you all for that, and a special thanks to you, Councilman Bond, and I think you know what I mean on that. We really appreciate it. And these are our partners, and we're happy to have all of our schools to participate. Georgia Tech, we have Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, Morris Brown, Georgia State. Thank you so much. And that formally ends our presentation, and I am available as well as Director Williams for the questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much for this budget level presentation. Very detailed and informative. I see Councilmember Lewis.
I just have one question around high intensity traffic court, but thank you so much, Solicitor, for everything you're doing for the city. Thank you for the calls that you accept. Thank you for being a person willing to work with citizens who may have gotten in a one-off. They may need a little help. They may not have the money to pay for the fine. Sometimes you offer community service in lieu of the fine, and sometimes you work with some of our seniors in different ways. So thank you for what you're doing. My question were around the high intensity traffic court and the January to March numbers of speeding being 521, and then April to June being 150. Is from April to June, I know our legislators, they're out of session, will go out of session in May, but this year they took up the case of the school speed zone traffic cameras. And so is that a direct correlation to there?
That's a very good question, because you saw that was a big difference. There's a lag time that takes place between when the officer cites the case and it's booked in. So that's what had an impact on that. If you looked at it truly, those cases that were 521 that had hit that calendar the first part of the year, those flowed from actually the year before. So that's why that was so high. So a truer number would be somewhere closer to around 250. But that's why that looked, and I'm glad, I was hoping somebody would ask about that, because that's a significant difference. But that actually came from those cases that were booked December. And as you can see, these things are seasonal. When the Christmas season hits, people are out of school, it goes up. Once January hits and school starts back, it goes down. Well, then those cases started hitting the court system like March, April, and May. And so that's why it went down.
And lastly, thank you so much for that. The last thing I want to talk about, you got your partners up, and I'm looking at your locations and your dates. One of the largest locations and dates is Atlanta Tech and Atlanta Metropolitan College, State College. And so your partners are up and you got all the colleges in there, but you're not mentioning the friends that you work with most, because you always need their spaces. And as a city, we always use them. And there are excellent schools on the southwest of Atlanta that sit in District 12, and that's Atlanta Technical College, and as Atlanta Metropolitan State College. Since they are partners, they would love to be a part of this too. So thank you so much for this, and thank you so much for your report today.
They need to be on there. I remember some months ago, Councilmember Amos, he pointed that out to us about Morris Brown. So next time you see a report, you're going to see them as our partners. I also want to thank those institutions because the regional DUI training that we do each year with Holacary, we actually do it at the institution. And so we have not only APD, but we have Georgia State Patrol officers and some of the other regional officers. They actually come to the institution for that training. So we've got to put them on there. Thank you.
I appreciate you again. Thank you.
Councilmember Bond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Carter, again, and your staff for a very thorough and informative presentation. You know, it's funny, you all are, to be enclosed in the court system, you do a tremendous amount of outreach across the city and education. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you on behalf of that, and of course, I want to thank your staff, Holacare, and others who come out and help us with the food distributions. You've been a partner with us since the pandemic, really almost 4.5, 5 years ago. So just wanted to thank you for that, and just want to compliment you on the way that with the senior citizen public safety education sessions, and Mary and I partnered on one, Ishay, and we've all been all around the city with it. I'm very excited to hear that you're going to be expanding that for more of the general public, because it is essential information that all people need to know about how better to protect themselves in various circumstances. So just high compliments to you and your staff and the work that you all continue to do, and the compassion that you and your staff have when the general public finds itself interacting with you in the courts. So thank you, and the public really does appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Councilwoman Collins.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. Great presentation. As we continue to give shout outs, I really do truly want to give a shout out to Ms. Carrie Holacary in your office, and one of our active community constituents as well, Mr. Williams, Herbert Williams, that really show out, and the entire team. But I know Ms. Carrie has definitely made sure that we are aware of the events and initiatives that are happening in the office. I definitely wanted to give them a little shine. I do have questions just for clarity, just so I can understand. On the data that you provided for the code enforcement court, so you have the different, you have the different like fire code, erosion code, these different columns. And that last line, it says total fines. And so what is that number? Because I mean, for business license, it's 20,226, but for January, it may be 100. Civil process cases, 45,000, 25. For February, 69,000. What are those numbers?
Yes, those are dollar totals.
Okay.
And thank you. We need to add the dollar sign.
Got it. Okay. All right. Great. No. This is extremely helpful.
We need to add the dollar sign on our next presentation.
No, that's perfect, because I wasn't for sure, like, if it was that's answered my question. Other than that, that's pretty much all that I had. Just one general question, and maybe this would be for the next presentation, where you gave the overview of the top 25 charges that's broken down each quarter. So for example, for April to June 2025, that's about 2,400, I guess, charges total. What is the average of what is the total amount of charges for April to June? Just for, relative to what we're seeing from the top 25. I don't know if you mentioned it. I don't know if I missed it. So that
what you're seeing are the charges where people were physically arrested. The total number of charges where people are just issued citations are far greater than this number. I don't have any problem at all to include it on my next report, but you'll generally find the total charges in the municipal court's presentation.
Got it.
When they
Yep,
do,
I thought
they'll
so.
do
Okay.
the total charges, which is inclusive of that. But these are the ones that come through where people are bonded out or they come through our jail calendar. And we thought it was very important for you all to see the impact of what's happening, because sometimes people are asking, what are people in Atlanta, what are they being arrested for? And as you can see, that state charge of driving with suspended license, if you notice, it consistently exceeds all the other charges, sometimes all the other charges put together. There are a lot of arrests on that charge, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so that makes sense in terms of the cumulative number in our municipal court presentation. So from here, we arrested 38 people for a safety belt violation, 31 people for following too closely. Like, those weren't citationable offenses. We arrested them and then they had to bond out.
What happened is they weren't arrested on that charge singularly. They were charged with that in addition to some other offenses. As I was mentioning in the example, person is arrested for DUI. They may have 2 additional underlying offenses, like no seatbelt and that type of thing. Now, one of the things that I think could help make this clearer is, and I'll make a note of this, we'll, in our future reports, we'll have a breakdown of the people that had multiple charges. And then that way you can see, because it does skew it a bit, because you'll look and say, well, it was only 38 people. No, I'm pretty sure that that was because they were charged with more than one offense. So I will have my team to take a look and do a further breakdown in terms of arrests for multiple offenses.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, for everything you and your team definitely do. Sir, you and I would be best friends. You got some District 3 things on there. Then you mentioned 60 PAL schools. There's a wonderful paper in CDHS. Quiet words is eminent domain, but we'll talk. But thank you and your team for everything you do. And definitely got to get a good shout out. And Councilmember Bond talked about it. Ms. Carey in your office, forever there, forever taking care of our seniors. So we'll appreciate her for that as well. So thank you. We'll let you get back down the street.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So I think that moves us to our consent agenda. I make a motion to move forward on all favorable claims. So motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. One moment. Can we repeat the seconder, please?
Councilmember Lewis.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. It's 5 yeas, 0 nays. The favorable claims have been approved.
Thank you. That moves us to our unfavorable claims. Make a motion to adverse all unfavorable claims. Is there a second? Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. It's 5 yeas, 0 nays. The unfavorable claims have been adversed. Mr. Chair, that brings us to our ordinances for first reading, for which we have 2, starting with item number 1. It's 25-01445, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee or the chief procurement officer or her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to acquire from Entrenchment Creek Coalition Incorporated 3 parcels of land comprising approximately 25.42 acres, more or less, of real property located at 0 Entrenchment Creek, Fulton County tax parcel identification number listed herein, 0 Custer Avenue, Fulton County tax parcel identification number listed herein, and 0 Boulevard Southeast, Fulton County tax parcel identification number listed herein, Atlanta 30315, for the future expansion of the city's Custer Avenue Combined Sewer Control Facility for a purchase price of $10,900,000.00. authorizing the mayor or his designee or the chief procurement officer or her designee on behalf of the city to execute all documents necessary to acquire this property according to the acquisition, due diligence, closing costs, signage, demolition, site security and stabilization, fencing, and other site development costs to be paid for the fund and account information listed herein, waiving section 2-1541D of Article 10 of the Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Ordinances and City Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. And item number 2, 25-01446, an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept on behalf of the Atlanta Police Department a donation from the Atlanta Police Foundation of one 2023 Compass mobile security surveillance trailer valued at approximately $93,680.39 to be accepted in as a donation as of July 7, 2025 for use as a security surveillance mechanism throughout the city of Atlanta and for other purposes. Mr. Chair, that brings us to our regular agenda, starting with our ordinances for second reading. Item number 3, 25-01438, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone authorizing the city attorney or her designee to execute a settlement statement on behalf of the city of Atlanta to resolve claims against PFA's and PFO's manufacturer 3M Company in the amount of $635,153.96 and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Is there a second? Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. This brings us to item number 4, 25-01439, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone to correct ordinance number 24-0-1278, contract number listed herein for body camera / police equipment and services with Axon Enterprises Incorporated, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on June 3rd, 2024, and approved pursuant to City Charter Section 2-403 on June 12th, 2024, for the purpose of correcting the additional funding amount for the Atlanta Police Department in the amount not to exceed $6,480,074.40. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein, listed in the initial amendment, and for other purposes.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. That brings us to our resolutions, starting with item number 5, 25R3741, a resolution by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond authorizing the mayor or his designee to exercise a second renewal option for a special procurement agreement number listed herein, Center for Diversion and Services Operator with Grady Memorial Hospital Corporation on behalf of the city of Atlanta for a term of 2 years, effective from January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, in an amount not to exceed $10 million and 0 cents. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
There's a motion that's been made and second. I'd like to do, it's not an amendment to that motion, but like to approve, support that motion on condition that funding info be updated in the finance committee. So he accept that friendly amendment. That's what I'm looking for.
It's fine. It's full council, I believe. Not
Full
finance.
council, FC, got you, full council. Yes. So friendly amendment that we move it forward on condition that funding be updated by full council. And that was accepted by the motioner, Councilmember Bond, and the seconder, Councilmember Lewis. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable on condition. Mr. Chair, if there are no objections, can we take items 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12 as a block?
Seeing none, proceed.
All right, item number 6, 25R 3771, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant, City of Atlanta, in the case of Jashana Hammond and Roderick Hammond v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 23 EV 007374, pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $50,000.00, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 7, 25R3772, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing settlement of all claims against the defendant, City of Atlanta, in the case of Jaquetta Smart v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24 EV 002734, pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $50,000.00, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 9, 25R3774, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Darlene Fox v. City of Atlanta et al., civil action file number 23 EV 005722, pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $150,000.00, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 10, 25R3775, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the defendant, City of Atlanta, in the case of Lakedra Keith v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24 CV 003088, pending in the Superior Court of Fulton County in the amount of $23,000.00, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 11, 25R3776, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing settlement of all claims against the defendant, City of Atlanta, in the case of Cindy Collins individually and as next friend for her minor daughter, Keonde Collins v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 23 EV 007373, pending in the State Court of Fulton County in the amount of $35,000.00, the settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And finally, item number 12, 25R3777, a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against defendants in the case of Shanquita S. Harris individually and as natural parent of minor Chase Harris v. City of Atlanta et al., civil action file number 23 EV 004254, pending in the State Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia, in the amount of $14,750.00. The settlement amount, authorizing the settlement amount to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Thank you. We actually been joined by one of our colleagues, Councilmember Bakhtiari, that has a question.
Yes, and I apologize for not, thank you, Vice Chair Amos. I apologize for not being here during the questions during the solicitor's office check-in, but I did have a question that I was hoping if they could send us an email on or somebody could respond to. My understanding is that we passed our blight tax legislation about a year ago and that we are actually waiting on Fulton County, that we are ready to go in terms of taking blighted properties that we have negligent property owners on or that have become a danger to the community. And my understanding is that we passed that, but we're waiting on Fulton County to pass the legislation as well, because we have to work with the county in order to execute these convictions on these blighted properties. So I'm hoping, because I don't believe we've been waiting a year on Fulton County for that one. So
I see we've been joined by our city attorney. Go ahead.
My colleague from the solicitor's office and his assistants have left, but I can respond to that because we've been working together, as he indicated during his presentation on these blighted tax properties. The blight tax itself that was introduced and approved has been going forward with cases. We've identified about 60 properties. They're going through cases and trials. I think the most recent number today was about 20 have been filed, and we are moving forward in the next few months to file another 23. However, you are correct that Fulton County has to agree to allow the tax commissioner to collect the liens that are being placed on the properties as a result of the powers granted to the city to demolish the properties because of the blight.
thank you, Madam Attorney. So may I ask, is it does that typically take a year to do, from your knowledge? I'm a little confused.
Those negotiations are above my pay grade between the city and the county. No one from either the solicitor's office or my office had been involved in those, except I know I prepared the documents and revised the documents, and they've been sitting since last summer.
And I apologize for opening this can of worms. I meant to be here earlier, and I had a meeting that popped up on the calendar, so I apologize. I thought it was important to talk about just because we did pass this legislation a year ago, and from my understanding, the city and the solicitor's office are doing everything that is required of them. But if we could get an update from Fulton County, I believe it was supposed to be on their docket last week. And so I thank you. I'm just a little confused as to, and you can't answer this question because from our perspective, we've done everything. But my understanding is we are waiting on the county, and to whatever degree the county can give us feedback as to why this hasn't happened yet, because we have an opportunity to hold negligent property owners accountable, free up more land for affordability, to disrupt the illicit activity that's taking place on vacant properties, and to actually better them for the community. So,
well, that part has not stopped. The property acquisition part is going forward. It's the problem of collecting the monies for the expenses we're incurring for the demolition that has not gone forward.
so let me rephrase. That money for demolition could be freed up for other purposes, and we could actually move those things forward, but I believe it's contingent on the county. So thank you. I just wanted to ask about it. I appreciate your responses, and to whatever degree the county could get back to us just to provide that information, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Lewis?
My questions were around the settlements, and I hope that the attorneys can look into this. A lot of our settlements, I was looking at the county, the cities that they happen in, like a lot of accidents where police cars were Gwinnett County, Noonan County, and DeKalb County. So I was wondering if these are off-duty officers, mainly because I know we do have a take-home car policy now. I'm just trying to figure out if we're settling claims. It looks like because you look at the staff settlement, the reason why is because it's cheaper to do it in this manner than to actually go to court. I'm wondering, are these like off-duty officers? And you don't have to answer that now, but that's the question I wanted to pose to, because I know we're settling claims. We just went through it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 were from way outside of city limits. I got Gwinnett County, Noonan County, DeKalb County. So I just would like to know what that is, and it says because of officer accident. Thank you again.
Okay, legal, we got that. And I was gonna ask before you answered to make sure we didn't have to do an executive session considering there are litigation. So if you're good with getting the information later without approaching the mic, okay.
Good afternoon, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta, Department of Law. And looking at the settlement resolutions that are before you, and that's going to be number 6 through, number 12 on the on the agenda. I am seeing that these are all in the state court or superior court of Fulton County.
Going even further, so let's say number 6. If you do the second whereas clause, whereas plaintiff alleged that on November 20, 2022, officer vehicle struck a side of plaintiff's vehicle while traveling southbound on Interstate I-85 in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Then you go to number 7.
Yes, Councilmember, her answer was based just on reviewing the headings and not the facts that you had alleged. And I came up to address that question to tell you, yes, if you needed to discuss any of the details regarding the settlement or the details underneath these cases, we would need to go into executive session.
And that's why I'm even open for a answer on a later time period.
Okay.
Answer in what format? What would you like me to do?
So
I can brief you one-on-one.
I would love to be briefed.
I will do that, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all discussion seems to be in. I make a motion to approve 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Is there a second? Second. Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. It's 5 yea. That's 4 yeas, 0 nays. The items are favorable. If we could circle back, Mr. Chair, to item number 8, we do have a request to amend this item. The amendment would just correct the settlement amount in the caption.
Motion to amend. Is there a second? Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. That's 5 yeas, 0 nays. The amendment is before the body. This is item number 8, 25R3773, an amended resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against defendant City of Atlanta in the case of Linda Hayes v. City of Atlanta, civil action file number 24CV003090, pending the Superior Court of Fulton County in the amount of $26,538.30, the settlement amount. Authorizing the settlement amount be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Motion to approve the amended item. Is there a second? Motion has been made and second. Please open the vote.
Vote is open. Vote is closed. The item has been approved as amended. Mr. Chair, we received no request to pull any items off of held. Accordingly, this concludes our legislative agenda for today.
Thank you. As he stated, that brings us to the end of our legislative agenda. This time, do you have any remarks or announcements from the committee? Seeing none. Oh, wow. We stand adjourned. Thank you.